afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to this proof-based marketing workshop that we have put together by our teams at First Hive. The basis of this marketing is to bring to you 5 strategies that help you put together a recession-proof marketing. Recession is the reality of our lives. There is an economic slowdown which is happening all over, and the impact is not only on the jobs which are being lost, unfortunately, by our colleagues, but unfortunately, a lot of enterprises as key departments like marketing, sales, and customer experience are seeing some big budget cuts. So the idea is to bring to you strategies that can help you counter these budget cuts. And this would be brought to you by Nishtila, who is our Senior Manager, Content and Product Marketing. Before I hand over the screen to Nishtila, I just want to quickly share a short video with you, which will help set the context for what is to come in this workshop. So now, without any further delay, Nishtila, over to you.
Hey, thanks, Jashan. It's a fact that we are going through severe marketing budgets. In the recent past that I've spoken to some of the chief marketing officers, and here we are to present, some data-backed strategies that will help you support navigate through the recession times, right? So, without much ado, let me quickly share my screen. And let's get started with what we have packed up for you. So the secret and the irony is that, we already have the major tool that we need to use to navigate through the recession times, right? And which is your own customer data. The huge compounding customer data that you're sitting on is actually going to be your key tool that will help you optimize your campaigns and, be able to achieve your revenue targets with the existing marketing budget cuts. So the way we are going to go through this session, and being a product marketing manager here at First Hive, I work with the product team, I work with the customer success teams, and also our own internal sales teams. And they have provided these insights to me collectively, and also our customers who are using First Hive, right? So how are they managing? How did they manage using customer data? Having said that, we are a customer data platform. How do they crunch the data using a technology like this, right? First of all, I'm going to take you through a quick process that we have put together, and it's simple and easy. Followed by, some real numbers. And this is an example that we are showcasing, wherein we move away from the mindset of customer acquisition costs to, cost per dollar earned or cost per rupee earned, followed by the 5 strategies that we promised. And how do we put technology to use to achieve this, and the action plan and next steps, right? So here's a very simple 5-step process, which is you bring customer data from across all your different sources, which could be your CRM, your mobile app, your banking app, your e-commerce app, or probably your offline point of sale units, right? Sensors, any possible source of customer data, we bring all the data together, segment them into relatable cohorts so that your targeting becomes easy. We recalculate the budgets, right? And out of the 5 different strategies we are going to present today, you can choose the right strategy to bank on, and then align your campaigns and the budgets that we have recalibrated based on the new mindset, which is going to be driven by cost per dollar earned or cost per rupee earned. For the purpose of global acceptance, we're going to use the abbreviation cost per dollar earned, and we're going to go ahead with that during this workshop. So let me first set the context for all of you, right? We all know, and I think we have all, as marketers, read it repeatedly enough that cost customer acquisition is way, way, way more than cost of retaining a customer, right? And research says that this cost is as inflated as 5 to 25 times. Here I have put a very modest number that it's just 5 times more than retaining your customer, but it can go up to as bad as 25 times of the cost that you incur in acquiring a new customer is almost 25 times more than retaining an existing customer. And why is it? Does it make any meaning in terms of numbers? Marketers always think in the form of ROI, return on investment, and how is it contributing to the revenue at the end of the day? So customer retention has proven to be a profit multiplier, which means the amount that you spend versus how much you get from that customer is way beyond what a new customer can give you. And that's because of the familiarity of the product and the product environment that you have created already for them. And there is a proven point that there's almost very, very high conversion rates are shown when you are trying to sell something new to an existing customer, right? And your conversion rates are way more, so you have a lot of predictability within your funnel while you're going through. And even better thing is that when you have retained customers, they add more loyalty, which means your sales is so much more accelerated than how much time it takes for you to sell to a brand new customer, right? So here are some stats. Some of you might be familiar, for some of you it might be new, but these just prove the point that while we are in tough times, when the budgets are being cut down, we'll have to shift our mindset from pure customer acquisition standpoint to a mix of acquisition and retention, right? So here, as I mentioned earlier, we need to slightly shift away from saying what is the cost to acquire a new customer versus what is the cost of every dollar or rupee that I earn. So for instance, if you are making $1 million in revenue and your spend is around $250K, then you are working around a CPDE of 0.25, right? And if your budgets are slashed by 30% altogether, that leaves you with just $175K, right? So does that mean you can still achieve your $1 million revenue? Maybe not in the traditional sense, but if you're shifting to a mindset of applying CPDE, which is cost per rupee earned, how much should I spend to earn $1, right? Or how much should I spend to earn 1 rupee? If you're moving towards that sort of a thinking, then you will still be able to achieve your revenues, same revenue targets with the new marketing budgets, with the slashed marketing budgets, right? So let's take a look at the math. How does it actually work? And after this, the most awaited 5 strategies will be introduced to you. But let's just see what is the end result before we deep dive into the strategy, right? For instance, let's take the same example here. Let's say your original spend for a new acquisition was 175K and you have been spending 75K on retention. Your old contribution based on an aggregate of 0.25, where if you apply the 5x rule, right? You spend 10 paise or 10 cents to earn $1 through retention, and 50 paise or 50 cents to earn $1 or rupee for new acquisition. If we apply that ratio and that math here, the revenue that's contributed through new acquisition, you will see, is a lot lesser than how much retained customers can deliver, the kind of revenue that existing customers can deliver for you, right? At the rate of the same end result, which is $1 million. Now, if you apply the same math for slashed budgets, so if your budgets are slashed and you have to do the same 0.1, 0.5 kind of a ratio, you will see that you are left with just $175K, and your breakup would look like how it shows up in the third column under spend in recession. But if you're going to change the math and say, I'm going to spend more on retention, I'm going to spend more on getting sales out of my existing customers, which is sort of a 50-50, then you will see that your revenue contribution is so much more, which is for the same numbers, right? Now, moving on to so to be able to, let me go in continuum, to be able to achieve those kind of numbers, let's just see what are the kind of strategies we need to apply, right? So it's all about putting your existing customer data into context, right? And that could be through data as patterns. It could be through recommendations, and we'll be deep diving into it. It could be through your persona and psychographic and behavioral data. It could also be through data modeling. So you experiment your existing customer data into different models and tie it back through reverse ETL into your data lakes, right? Or it could be through incentivized programs using your existing segmented customer data, right? Basically, you're segmenting your customer data into cohorts that can be incentivized into in different ways. So let's look at the first strategy, which is data as patterns. If you identify, and these are all, things that we have already tried, and I'm sharing the top 3 tactics for each strategy. And here are the ones for data as patterns, right? You see that certain customers have a very repeated buying cycle, and this is true for retail, e-commerce, your manufacturing sector, even your banking, mortgage, lending, any kind of these sectors, right? It's true across all these sectors that typically certain consumers, certain customers have a type of a repeated buying cycle. So if you're able to segment the buying cycle in terms of repeatable patterns, that's one segment that you could be targeting, right? The other tactic is giving them small bites, and there's a long psychology behind it, but cutting it short. For example, your systematic investment plans, which is known as SIP, and your EMIs for the lending industry, you see that there are small payouts that consumers do for portion consumption because their appetite is very limited. So if you identify patterns around customers who are making small amounts of purchases, right, and who are investing small amounts depending on what your final product is, that's another segment that will really benefit and reap you high results. The third kind of tactic that we saw that worked great is more like these, right, which is similar purchase patterns, wherein you showcase similar value, similar price, very close to what they have already purchased in the past. They're highly likely to make that purchase again. So that is again happening with your existing customers, your existing customer data, and not with any of your new customers, right? Now, the second one is autonomous recommendations, right? And this is very relevant to retail and e-commerce sector and some parts of the manufacturing sector too, wherein we can make the top 3 recommendations. Again, among them, there are top 3 tactics that really work well. Is that one, across category recommendations, cart value recommendations, and persona based recommendations, right? You see here a statistic that 91% of consumers say they're more likely to buy products from brands that provide recommendations, right? And the more relevant it is, the higher is your purchase value and the higher is your conversion. So in terms of cart recommendations, what I mean is not just if they're going to shop for some bags, it's not that you're going to show more bags, but you could show complementing product categories. You could show supplementing product categories and also bundled product categories. A very, very awesome example is recently, I was making a purchase of a bed for my kids' bedroom. And I saw that the recommendations came along in a sense wherein they were also offering me to buy a mattress. They were offering me to buy pillows. They were offering me to buy, bed sheets, pillow covers, and the recommendations can go on endless because they know that I'm purchasing a product for a child's bedroom, right? So similarly, cart value recommendations are wherein you show a slashed price or a price rounding off, saying that if you just make 300 rupees worth more of purchase, you're going to get an XYZ offer. Or, if you say if you're going to add more to your cart, this is the value that you get at the end of the day because you have bundled the cart with very, very similar products. And these are the 3 top, types of cart value recommendations that are working well in the retail sector. Similarly, when you come to persona-based recommendations, a very common recommendation is around the social proof, which could be termed for, what others like, or you could also tie a number that says, hey, 1,800 people have bought this, 1,500 people have bought this, or 200 people have bought this, right? Just to show how many more people are excited to buy the product, or among how many more people this particular product is popular. And another very interesting psychographic, data-driven insight that we received is that twinning or having your buddy also purchase the same, your friend, your family also purchase the same product, showcasing that in front of them, it makes them really excited to purchase that product. So this is very persona-based recommendation. Now you might be wondering, hey, this is highly retail level of recommendations and, there's a lot of slicing and dicing of customer data. That's where a customer data platform comes into play, right? We have amazing auto segmentation abilities, which will help you just set simple rules based on the strategies that you want to deliver, apply, and you will be able to back that using your own customer data that's ingested into the system. And then you can send it out for activation depending on whichever automation tool that you're using, right? And your automation rules engine would already be set. So all you have to do is plug in this rule, the segmentation data rule into your automation system, and it runs very seamlessly. Now, the third strategy is again a deep dive into segmentation of persona and behavior data. So there are 3 interesting personalities that we have surfaced, right? One is a compulsive buyer, who makes a lot of impulsive purchases, right? So taking advantage of that kind of a psychographic behavior is if you show a lot of ads, these are the people who will make quick purchases, right? So increasing an ad spend for this specific segment of customers is going to be very interesting. But then how are you going to do that? How do you figure out who are these compulsive or impulsive buyers, right? So when you charge out your ads out there in the universe, the digital universe, you will see that for a certain time, you can set it up and check it out and say that, hey, within this time, if there is somebody who's making a purchase after watching this ad, then this person falls under the criteria of compulsive buyers, right? So you can take a look at the time to conversion from an ad, response to ad, And you can segment all these folks under the compulsive buyer segment. Another buyers who will never ditch you during recession times are your essential product buyers. They need essential goods and they will definitely make a purchase. But then how do you figure that out? You can figure it out by UTM links of more discovery calls. So these are the people who make a lot of discovery calls, right? And if you have your UTM links tag or you have pixels and tags attached, you will be able to figure out that these are the people who are creating a lot of product wish lists, who are asking for a lot of demos, who want to talk to the interface, the person on the other side who's willing to make that sale, right? It could be through any sale. It could be an insurance coverage policy, or it could be a home loan. It could be on an e-commerce website. These people who are trying to make that purchase are making a lot of discovery calls. And if you have the data, you can segment that, bucket them under the essential product buyers segment. And the third interesting personality that we figured out are people who make constant renewals. So your sales coming from renewals are never going to go away even during recession times, right? And typically, when do renewals happen very effectively? When there is a fear of price increase in the future. And these people are very highly likely to make that renewal ahead of time instead of waiting until the deadline comes up, until the due date comes up, right? Similarly, people who prefer recurring payments instead of making a one-time contract with you or making a one-time bulk purchase, these are the people who would be interested to make those recurring purchases, and you can target them as renewing customers. And this is typically very effective if you're selling insurance policies, or if you're selling investment mutual funds, stuff like that, right? And you also see that there is statistic proven research that says 40% of the customers spend more money when they rather than when they're planned in stores, and only 25% are reported to buy on online impulse shopping. So the number 2 and 3 are very effective for the 40%, and the number 1 strategy tactic that we have shared here is very effective for the 25% that we are talking about. The fourth one is a very, very data-driven strategy, and this requires you to create your own experimentative model in a very simulated environment, right? Before you launch it into your data lake. And interestingly, products like technologies like a customer data platform and will be able to let you put that small data sets for experimentation, and that can be further ingested into your larger data set, into a live environment that is drawn from your data lake, right? So coming down to what tactics can you apply here? So data can be gathered to figure out how people are sticking with you, and this is exactly what we spoke about earlier, which is about spending more money on retention instead of spending money on new acquisitions, right? So if you have, let's say, 1 million or 10 million users in your database who have already made a purchase with you, or who are, users on a recurring basis, you can run a loyalty program using wallet points. And this is proven very effective. You would have seen while making a purchase on any of the e-commerce websites for that matter, they would say that, hey, you have 30 credits in your wallet, you have 50 credits in your wallet, and you can redeem them. Now, the tricky part about loyalty programs is more than just setting up a beautiful website and running the loyalty program. It's about making your users redeem the rewards, and that's the tricky part. So if you don't have data telling how many of them have actually redeemed the reward, you don't know if the loyalty program has been a success or not. Luckily, with a customer data platform that is extended with a loyalty program management loyalty marketing system, you will be able to draw the data and deliver the loyalty program very effectively. And our customers who are banks, mutual funds, and retail outlets with offline units also have been able to very effectively use this particular feature of First Hive. The second one is a tactic that is very famous, which is buy now, pay later. And it's been quite effective with our customers who are into POS, point of sale financing, or they are into card linked installments, where they are credit players, not credit card, but credit players. And some of them are also using a virtual rent to own model, especially when it comes to fixed assets that are available on an e-commerce website. And these are all examples that I'm stating from our existing customers who have used them, right? And the third very interesting tactic that our customers use, and they have proven data when they are using technologies like customer data platform, is the order prediction model, right? Which is, if you are, the model is able to predict the next best purchase date of some of your existing customers. So you're not spending money on acquiring new customers, but figuring out who are those existing customers who are willing to buy, and also it gives you the next best date. Some of the other ancillary models that have been applied and added to the larger data lake are next buy model, next best offer model by banking institutions. So these have been some of the interesting models that are applied within our customer data platform itself. So here's some research that we have been able to draw that shows, how by applying a loyalty program and how by retaining, making the existing person buy more, you see that there is an increase over time in the value of purchase that they are making with you. So if you have spent $100 in acquiring this customer, even then it's value for money over 5 purchases, provided you have made good use of the customer data, provided you have implemented some of these tactics in combination as a hybrid model, wherein you are applying loyalty program and other data models that I have just mentioned. So moving ahead, I could probably pause if you want to take a deeper look at this table. But this is real data that we are showing you, in terms of how there is progressive value for money on what you have spent way beyond in acquiring that one customer, and how it works in spending more money on the existing customers. The fifth one is the incentivization. So if you have customer data that tells you when to incentivize, how to incentivize, you will be able to make most out of the money that you have already spent. Customer referral program is very popular, and I think every other brand has this kind of a program, but it's mostly the effective use of this customer referral program, right? And if you are having a segment of how customers are responding to discounts and coupon codes, if there has been a high redemption, exactly, this example that I've stated a few minutes ago, which is the time to redemption, response time from the time they saw the offer to the redemption time of the coupon. If this has been high, this segment are very likely to be effective in a customer referral program. So instead of doing spray and pray, sending out a customer referral launch to everybody, if you target these 10,000, 20,000 folks who have a high response rate of coupon redemption or customer referral redemption, these people are very highly likely to refer your brand, your product to a friend to get a reward and to redeem that, right? So it becomes very successful. Your customer referral program becomes very successful when you target it to this segment of people. The second one is your channel partner referrals. And this has been very effective across all our manufacturing sector customers, right? So let's take an example of a piping customer, right? They have plumbers as their channel partners. Let's take the example of a paint manufacturing. They have painters as their channel partners. We have electricians as channel partners for wiring and cables. We have lubricant, for lubricant oils. We have mechanics as the channel partners. So all these people put together become your channel partner, become a part of your channel partner referral program. And the supply chain, when you're able to get data out of these disintegrated channel partners, because they are individuals, they are not institutions. When you're able to get data just as much as how you get your customer data in place put together, and you're able to draw an insight, just like how I have mentioned above for customer referral programs, you would be able to have a very targeted redemption, a successful redemption program of all the offers that you're charging out there for your channel partners. And the third one is a credit point system that has worked very well for our customers. They've been able to draw insights on who have been happy customers, who are making those repeat purchases, and who are willing to earn points by sharing examples, experiences on social media, by using UTM tags, right? So this kind of data has been able to help them build upon their credit point system. In fact, we have seen in some of the cases 3x redemption levels and almost 10x of new acquisition by making this referral program a success. So take a good look at this slide, right? Because you are spending less on referral programs, on retaining these customers, and you're making them the instruments and engines to acquire new customers, right? So this is an amazing strategy to apply low cost and get high value out of it, high return on investment on it, right? So here we come to an end to the 5 strategies that I just mentioned. But as promised in the beginning, we'll also look at how do you use technology, right? So a customer data platform enables you to run multiple data models using the technology itself. And First Hive, the way it is designed, interestingly, it also has embedded extensions for everything that I mentioned. You can run, we have technology that is extended out of the CDP, which provides you a loyalty program automation system, and it directly draws the data from the CDP and it's able to activate it for you. We have a campaign automation system, and we also have a lead gen, a channel partner management system. So the activation part is also handled within the CDP itself, right? So coming back to what are those 6 quick steps for you to get to the intersection of recession-proof marketing. So this sort of is a summary of whatever we spoke until now, right? So you take a proven data model, you run it into your, after experimenting it in the CDP, you run it into your data lake integrated to the CDP. And then you could also further segment and enrich all the data that's coming from the data lake into the CDP. So it's like a circular mode, right? We can extract data, ingest it into the CDP coming from data lake and send it back to it also. So you can segment based on all the rules that I just shared. You can devise an integrated campaign, and here with the extended campaign automation system that we have, you can do it, or you can bring your own marketing automation tool, right? Automate it with CDP and apply any of the modular extensions that we have within the CDP, which is for your referral programs, your loyalty marketing programs, your campaign automation, anything of that sort, right? So having said that, we have this completely summarized it for you, and we'll keep the rest of the session open for questions coming along. And if you are curious as to how exactly this technology works, if you have never heard of it, fair enough. Or if you have already heard of it and you want to explore how First Hive works, we are hosting group demos for sector level, deep insights, because we have modularized the customer data platform for different sectors. And we have one being hosted on 29th of November for retail, CPG, and e-commerce, and on 30th for banking, the BFSI sector, and on 1st we are hosting it for the manufacturing sector. So we'll keep the session open for discussion. If you want to join that, you can drop in your email ID right now, right here away, right away, or you can also send your interest to marketing@firsthive.com, and we can get back to you to set up an introductory call as to how exactly this technology can help you execute all these strategies that we just shared right now. We'll keep the forum open to Q&A.
Thank you, Nishtila. That was an excellent and very insightful session. We do have a couple of questions which are already coming in. So the first question that we have is, with reduced marketing budgets, does it make sense to look at investment into new marketing technologies to drive outcomes? Or should the brands double down on activities alone instead of investing in technologies?
Right, that's a great question, right? So based on the math table that I just showed you, you could also contemplate of cordoning off some of the budgets that we have for technology acquisition, and the kind of ROI that you have. But again, it has to be a very sensible MarTech stack, right? It has to be something that's going to deliver high ROIs for you. And if you're able to do that, then it makes sense for you to invest in a technology that's going to help you retain your existing customers better than any your existing MarTech stack already.
All right. And I think the next question is a good continuation on the terms of activities that was mentioned in the previous question. Here, one of our attendees is asking, which are, according to you, top 3 picks for the most effective channels for customer retention?
So the top 3 channels, I guess, could be your existing. If you're from the retail or banking sector, then it could be your own existing e-commerce app and your banking app. And apart from that, you could also run a parallel loyalty program. So you could create a new channel for yourself, right? Which is tied back to a lot of coupon redemption and social validation, which is tied back to your social media channels. And the third one could be your daily in and out automation of email and SMS and WhatsApp. So that's a great combination because anybody who's not tagged along across any of these 3 channels would be there on the one of these 3 channels would be there on the other 2 channels, right? So if you're missing out on email, then you have an integrated campaign tied up to the also WhatsApp and SMS, and the same with the other 2. So these could be your top 3 picks that you can think of.
All right. And I think the last question that we have here is for small and medium-sized businesses, how should we look at planning the marketing budgets as a database is limited to the CRM? I think this goes back to a lot of your reference in multiple slides where data lake was a prominent feature, of how the data sets available to the enterprises should be exploited to kind of double down on your, retention, driving loyalty and driving your final outcomes, marketing outcomes in terms of numbers on the existing client base. So what should the small and medium-sized businesses do?
Yeah, so data lake is one of the data sources that we ingest data from, but we have, in fact, many of our clients using a CRM, right, from which we are ingesting data into our customer data platform. If you feel that, and you can do your data modeling experimentation on our customer data platform while there is a connector from your CRM into the CDP. And there's a continuous flow of customer data coming into the CDP. Having said that, if your data set is even smaller than what I'm speaking right now, there's no continuous flow and you're just starting up, feel free to use the existing strategies that we have just shared and do the number crunching within your own CRM, right? Or if you have a decent amount of data coming in into your CRM on a continuum, then you can have it integrated with our simple connectors that we already have with any of the popular CRMs out there. It could be Salesforce, it could be any of your Microsoft CRM, any of the CRMs that are out there, the Adobe CRM, anything out there can be a pipe drive integrated into First Hive as a CD.
I think this is a question, though it's not come up, but we know that we face a lot when we go out and speaking to people and talking about CDP. If you could just explain to the audiences present, what is the key difference between CDP and a CRM?
So, just as the abbreviations talk about, right? CRM is a customer relationship management tool that was developed with an intention of having visibility into which are the leads, flowing in, and who are the contacts tied along with the leads. How are they progressing into becoming opportunities and accounts, your real customers on a day-to-day basis, right? And typically it's a tool that's used by a combination of sales and marketing teams. Now a CDP on the other hand has leveled it up for all of us, right? So a CDP, as the abbreviation itself goes, is a customer data platform. Now customer data could not only be sitting in your CRM, but it could also be sitting in somebody's Excel sheets, right? It could also be sitting in somebody's mobile app where actually transactions happen. It could be sitting in a huge data lake that's operated by your data scientists, and or it could be across your operations and logistics team. It could be segmented, distracted anywhere, all across your organization. Now, what a CDP does, which a CRM does not do, is it ingests data from across all these sources, right, at an enterprise level. And it's not just internal sources. I'm also talking about external sources, which is stuff like your point of sale, your third-party databases, things like that. So it is able to ingest data and tell you, instead of saying, and there's a very famous joke, right? Especially in the banking industry, you end up getting a call from the same bank 5 times in a day, selling different products, right? Selling an insurance policy, they're selling you a home loan, they're selling you a savings bank account. And this recently happened with me, wherein I don't want to name the bank, but they said, you are holding a PPF account. Why don't you also take a savings bank account with us? But interestingly, I was also having a savings bank account and a credit card with them, but they didn't know about it. And it's the same bank, right? So a CDP brings that kind of a unified, customer profiling across all the multiple sources. It tells you as a, cohesive unit that, hey, it's the same customer. They are using X, Y, Z products of your same brand. So that gives you more intelligence about customers at a single level and at a cohort level, at a segmented cohort level, right? And that's what a CDP does, which I think today none of the CRMs do. The capabilities and features and the use cases for which a CRM is brought into your MarTech stack is a lot different from bringing a CDP onto your MarTech stack. So there's a glaring difference.
Thank you, Nishida. I think you also concluded the answer to that question at a very good time. We've just short by 2 minutes over the time. I think it's we've right now we'll conclude this session.
So, Jashan, if I may pause here, somebody named Sharad Kumar has just, asked as if because they couldn't attend the webinar because of another reason. That's fair enough, Sharad. We'd be happy. So let me quickly flash. I am not sure which. I hope everybody is able to look at the screen that I'm presenting.
Yes, it's visible.
So, Sharath, we are hosting extended, extension of this webinar, and I'm not sure which sector you represent, but if any of these dates are helpful for you, you please join us. Retail, we have on the 29th November, BFSI 30th November, manufacturing 1st December. We have our own in-house experts who have crunched this for all our customers, and we are bringing them onto this call. If you're interested, please drop in an email to marketing@firsthive.com. We'll also be sending, since you have registered for this webinar, we'll also be sending an on-demand, link so that it'll be available for your reference. However, I strongly recommend so that you see how the technology works for yourself in live on any of these 3 days. If these are not dates convenient to you, please drop in an email to marketing@firsthive.com. We will accommodate a date that works for you. So I hope this has answered your question. I think we have more questions coming in. Sneha Tiwari, can CDP be used for telecom sector? Yes, Sneha, CDP can be used for telecom sector. I'll be happy to answer more questions. So you can drop in an email to marketing@firsthive.com and I can take you through how this works. Sharath, you're from retail, so I hope we'll see you on 29th of November. But if that doesn't work that day, then we will have something arranged for you. Any of your colleagues who will be interested in this, feel free to join. There's no seat limitation for these specific ones. This one was hosted only for registered users. But if you have colleagues and friends in the same sector who want to understand how this technology works, feel free to have them come over.
Also, at the end of this session, we would be sending out emails to all the people who joined us, plus also who could not join us, with the links of these 3 dates, the demo links for group demo. So it will be easily accessible. Please make a point to save the dates onto your calendar as well. And we look forward to you all joining in for another very exciting session that we've planned on 29th, 30th, and the 1st of December.
So I think, sorry, Jashan, I've been pausing you. So Sneha here asks if which of these 3 dates work for telecom. Sneha, we can arrange an exclusive one because I understand telecom does not fall under any of these 3 sectors. We'll be happy to arrange an introductory call out of these 3 dates. It'll be really helpful if you can drop in your email ID to marketing@firsthive.com or drop in here one-on-one to Jashan or me. We will pick it up from there and get in touch with you.
Let me just go back and check. I hope I'm not okay. So thank you, Sneha, for confirming the email ID that we have on record with us. We will make it a point to send out an invite specifically for the demo session as well. And Sharath, of course, we will be sharing the recording of the session as well. That we will be sharing in coming 2 to 3 working days time. If there are any more questions, thoughts, please feel free to put them on the chat box before we conclude the session. We'll wait for another minute or 2 more.
If you have any further questions, you can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I can share some of the strategies that we have shared during this workshop today, and you can pass it on to your colleagues. So feel free to drop in a note on LinkedIn too. I think that's sort of a close to the session. Thanks, Jashan.
Thanks, Nishra. Thank you for your time. And again, thank you so much for this great session. Thank you for all the participants present and their participation throughout the session as well. It was extremely interactive, and we'll be sure to be coming back to you very soon in the coming month with another very exciting session on similar lines. So it's a series of workshops that we've planned. Every time we're going to be picking up new topics, and we'll be sharing content based around those topics and deep diving into each of those topics. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.